You can see that in infants. When the baby is first born, the brain isn't fully myelinated. Thyroid hormone is critical for brain development. It continues the myelination process of white matter in the first few years of life. Thyroid hormone is critical in those first few years. And that hormone shouldn't be overlooked in the remyelination process after MS. Hey, it's Steve. I didn't know right off the bat, but I realized the importance of this far too late. The process is a feedback loop. To start the feedback loop, the hypothalamus up in the brain releases a thyroid-releasing hormone, which in turn stimulates your pituitary gland to produce and release thyroid-stimulating hormone. That triggers your thyroid to produce the two main thyroid hormones, T4 and T3. Are you with me so far? I know, that's very technical. Don't worry if that is not interesting to you. I'm not too interested in it, but it's useful in understanding this next part. Here is when the really important part you need to understand comes into play. Your thyroid needs adequate amounts of iodine, the substance that I talk about all the time, to produce T4 and T3. There is an interesting connection between thyroid hormone and remyelination in MS. So to form and regenerate myelin, oligodendrocyte progenitor cells, which I have talked about extensively in other videos, must differentiate into mature oligodendrocytes. But there is a huge problem for MS patients. It's one of the main reasons MS is even a disease. There's plenty of OPCs, oligodendrocyte progenitor cells, and demyelinating lesions. We don't understand exactly why they don't mature into mature oligodendrocytes. This is regarded as one of the forefront cause of remyelination failure in MS. T3 is not only critical for CNS myelination during development, but is integral for the expression of oligodendrocyte-specific genes in white matter turnover, going all the way into adulthood. It leads me to look at my past. Not far off past, very recent past. What I've done, and I still do today, I think about it all the time. So, referencing when I was talking about iodine a little while ago, iodine is very dangerous if you get too much, especially when it's taken as a supplement without other nutrients that would naturally accompany iodine found in whole foods. But I supplement. Let me get into it. When I started supplementing, my daily iodine, I was taking 9 drops of glucose iodine solution. It circumvents that iodine being dangerous by combining the iodine with potassium iodide, which also increases the absorbability of both. I felt the rush of energy that gave me, and it pretty much eliminated my MS fatigue. And I was ecstatic. But unfortunately, it didn't last for too long. I didn't know, but when you supplement iodine, your thyroid turns into a sponge, soaking it up like no one's business. What happened to me is not the biggest deal in the world. I developed a sore throat. Now, this might be different for everyone, but let me tell you what I went through. As I said, it wasn't terrible, but after a few days without it getting any better, I decided I need to have a doctor look at it. I made an appointment with my GP. He did a complete examination, and after a few tests, which came back negative, the only thing he saw when staring down my throat, it looked like my thyroid was enlarged. Well, fearing cancer, he sent me to have an ultrasound done. Ultrasounds are really easy to perform. They're widely available and does not involve ionizing radiation. It's the best imaging method for evaluating the thyroid and possible cancer. Well, the actual procedure didn't take long. I went in and a technician smothered some clear jelly all over the ultrasound device and all over my neck, and she took pictures along the way. And that was it. Well, a few days later, I received notice that the endocrinologist reviewed the images and ruled out cancer. Whew. But I had already started in the next step. I'll admit, I was a bit embarrassed, and that embarrassment led me to not say anything to anyone what I knew and what they didn't know. It was the 9 drops I was taking every day that caused it. So I cut back, dropping down to just 4 drops. I knew I needed iodine for remyelination, so stopping it was out of the question. So how did I figure 4 drops? What made me come to that conclusion? I calculated that 4 drops would give me 4 milligrams of iodine. That sounds like a lot, especially if you consider the daily recommended daily allowance, which is only 150 micrograms. But I have a different thought of this whole situation by looking at the Japanese diet. Japan has a population that lives considerably longer than many other countries. All people eat 12 milligrams or 12,000 micrograms of iodine per day. And I mean, makes sense. Most of that iodine comes from seaweed. So it's safe to say I'm not in a danger zone. I'm not gonna go back to eating 9 drops again. It gave me the sore throat, but if I consume more than enough, more than 150 micrograms, which everyone says, oh, that's the recommended daily allowance. Well, I don't know. Are they trying to restore their myelin? Oh, I know I am. Do you know how much iodine you consumed every day? Do you have a similar story of taking in too much iodine just like me? Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Until the next one.